up on CitySpan. Surveillance, simulators, baseball in the budget, all in the spotlight.
Big Brother is watching. Savannah's public safety cameras have grown exponentially since the G8 summit. They now play a big part in the city's safety plan.
Speaking of safety, drivers in our town are hitting the streets. It's not just a video game, it's high-tech training.
Plus, it's time to break down the budget, let you know the ever-important process for shaping the city's financial future.
So grab a cup of coffee with the cop. CitySpan is straight ahead. Hello everyone, I'm Letitia Thomas, the Assistant Director for the Revenue Department.
And I'm Keith Stover, the Employee Development Coordinator in the HR Department.
On this edition of CitySpan, in addition to the latest news and information about Savannah City Government, Keith and I will be highlighting the Management Services Bureau.
Our Bureau provides critical support services to frontline departments as well as key direct services to the public. Everything from employee health and wellness to downtown parking. We'll have more about those services later in the show, but up first.
In 2004, 4 cameras were installed in Savannah for city surveillance during the G8 summit. The police department liked the system and purchased the cameras from the outside vendor.
The department then worked with the city's IT department, and the video network was born. CitySpan's Ken Slatz takes us to the Command and Control Center.
St. Patrick's Day came along, and then we decided to adjust some of those cameras and try to move them down to River Street. And so that would have taken us into '05. And so '05, we moved all 4 cameras down to River Street.
One of the things that I think we learned pretty quickly talking to City IT was the cost savings. City IT staff was able to research the technology and the devices, and it really kind of exploded since then.
It's over 100 now, for sure, and that's indoor and outdoor.
Closing in on 150 cameras on the network. It's a valuable tool with so many different angles.
For evidence, for events, knowing for traffic control, traffic flow. I've seen the importance grow over the years.
It's important to point out that all of our cameras are in public locations. So they're either in a public building or they're placed outside.
The command center, if you will, a very crucial part of the city of Savannah and its safety, used mainly for special events, say 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, and some other major events. All the cameras are stationary except for one very important camera on the county helicopter.
This video, for instance, he's taken off at from the airport. There was a shooting call or carjacking call, I think it started in Richmond Hill. Came up 17, and if you notice, he's going downtown. There's a Savannah River. The suspect went over the Talmadge Bridge and headed into Hardyville.
When they were developing the Ellis Square project, this was part and parcel of the project itself, which was pretty neat. Ellis Square is, a very popular, large gathering place for crowds. In particular, with some of our special events in the downtown, and the cameras are just another way for us to be able to see what's going on. The police department itself obviously has ideas in terms of where the cameras would like to be located. Again, a lot of this is historical information using data, statistics, crime statistics in terms of where crime has taken place, and then also working with investigators and police officers who actually patrol the streets and familiar with what's taking place within their respective precincts.
It's a full system, yet another tool for the city of Savannah to help its citizens stay safe. This is Ken Slatz for CitySpan.
The Control and Command Center also includes a backup 911 call center and is fully equipped to be staffed at a moment's notice should any situation warrant.
Savannah's police department is on a mission to improve trust and build relationships, one cup of coffee at a time. It's a national campaign called Coffee with the Cop. SCMPD officer Joshua Holtz organized Savannah's unofficial chapter. Downtown Savannah's McDonald's was the first stop. It's pretty simple. Build relationships with the citizens of the communities they serve.
Basically, I want to hear the citizens' concerns, and I also want them to understand us a little bit so we can kind of meet in the middle and we understand each other a little bit better. And a lot of people, the only times that they see us is when we're on a call. Unfortunately, they're a victim or they're a witness of something. This way, there's nothing holding us back, basically.
They're here just as a deterrent. They walk the streets. It's great to have a relationship with them, to feel comfortable for our customers or employees.
I spoke with one woman for about 20 minutes, and when I started talking to her, she was actually shaking. You know, some people are afraid of us in certain ways, and in this way, again, we can come together and we can understand one another.
Follow the City of Savannah's Facebook and Twitter pages for the locations and times of upcoming Coffee with a Cop events.
In preparing the city's annual operating budget and the forward-looking capital improvement projects plan, the city's Research and Budget Department is tasked with managing public resources by promoting financially responsible decisions. City Span's Alicia Scott has more on the process.
This unassuming space on Factors Walk in downtown Savannah could be considered the lifeline of the city. Here, the staff of the Research and Budget Department toils to provide and allocate funds for the more than $300 million budget that's required to provide the day-to-day services that citizens have come to expect.
The city's annual operating budget provides all of those municipal services that most citizens can see, feel, or touch. It provides the funds that are required to ensure that every police cruiser in patrol and special operations is maintained adequately, has fuel in the tank, and is operational. When you see us greatly enhancing the south side median developments by planting new trees, it's the annual operating budget that's providing those financial resources.
Due to its sheer size and complexity, months of planning go into the budget process prior to it being presented to City Council for final adoption.
Citizens may not realize it, but the city staff are going through this process 9 months of the full year on an annual basis. And it takes a lot of input from city departments, city employees, as well as our executive managers and our partnering community agencies.
It's not just the annual operating budget that requires planning. The current $221 million capital improvement project budget looks ahead 5 years. The CIP allocates funding for things like drainage, road improvements, recreational facilities, police and fire stations, and ongoing maintenance costs.
When we're dealing with large sums of money, such as $5 million for one project, those are projects that can't be funded in an annual year. And that's where we have the 5-year capital improvement program budget in order to refund existing projects that are recurring to maintain our aging infrastructure. But also when we have additional SPLOST-related projects that the voters have just so generously granted and voted for, those funds are tied to the capital improvement projects that were created for a specific purpose.
And while this may not be the city's most visible office, rest assured that it's the goal of Research and Budget to keep the entire process open and transparent.
Annually, when we present the budget to our political administration, which are our mayor and aldermen, at the very same time, the very same day, we make it available to the public. And the way we do that, we place a copy of the full proposed budget and capital improvement program in the Bull Street Library as well as the West Chatham Library. It is placed online and is accessible at www.savannahga.gov/budget. And in addition to that, we hold 2 public hearings every year before the elected administration can vote on the budget.
Adoption of the budget isn't the end of the process. The 8-member Research and Budget staff monitors the adopted budget throughout the year to ensure fiscal responsibility.
You know, we have no choice but to ensure that all that hard work that we've put into it along with other city staff across the 9-month period, that we adhere to that plan. Every single dollar needs to be accounted for, and it is accounted for in our annual operating budget. And so therefore, the Research and Budget staff need to monitor it and advise.
All that hard work and due diligence hasn't gone unnoticed. The city has received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Finance Officers Association 32 consecutive times. Reporting for City Span, I'm Alicia Scott.
Still to come on City Span, safety on the roadways is first and foremost for Savannah City drivers. Their unique training tool takes the stage.
Plus, City Hall is 110 years old. What's inside the walls is crucial to the city's future. Details coming up.
But next, Savannah has a baseball team to replace the Sand Gnats in historic Grayson Stadium. We'll reveal the fruit-filled details straight ahead.
Every day, I can make a difference. Building relationships with kids, helping others, and making my community safer. I enjoy being a part of this team. It was an easy transition from the military. I joined the Army for my country. I became a police officer for my family. My daughter looks up to me. That will put a smile on any dad's face. If you're ready to make a difference, step forward.
Welcome back to City Span. I'm Letitia Thomas. Savannah's new tenant for historic Grayson Stadium is closing in on the start of the baseball season. Fans have waited for months in anticipation to find out the new name for the team.
Thank you very much. We're very excited to introduce this new banana brand to Savannah.
It's a fruit-filled feeling from the baseball team in town. It'll be the Savannah Bananas, taking the field in June at the ballpark. Ownership opened up the contest months ago to the public, and the winning name came from Savannah's own Lynn Moses.
I think the message, it was describing how to pick a name, and it said they wanted something family friendly, and so banana sounded family friendly and it rhymed with Savannah, so I thought it was kind of catchy, so that was it. I entered it and never thought about it again.
When the name was suggested, we were all like, wow, this is different, it's unique, it's fun, and we feel we had to have a special, unique name for Savannah. Couldn't be like any other sports team, and we're so excited to be the Savannah Bananas.
The Savannah Bananas will take the field at Grayson Stadium for the first time June 3rd. They are in the Coastal Plain League. It's not a professional league. It's a collection of college players honing their skills during the summer while they are still in school.
One of the city's tools is its pair of automobile simulators, used to train any employee whose job relies heavily on operating a vehicle. In fact, of the fleet of 1,500 vehicles, more than 1,000 can be on the road at any given time. City Span's Ken Slatz finds out why it's not all fun in video games.
Your scenario's loaded. All you got to do is just crank your car up like you would normally and put it in drive and go. They have to clear every single lane. Now, on the street, if that happened, that can be bad. In here, it's a learning tool.
A learning tool and investment. There are many different ways to look at this. The simulators cost the city $500,000. Police safety is one of the top priorities. That's the department that uses them the most. However, all city street vehicles, including fire trucks and dump trucks, can be simulated for training.
The benefits is that we can establish what driving behaviors are. Really what they don't realize is they all get in here with the intent of, I'm gonna drive real careful, I'm gonna drive real careful. But when we sit down right here and we start driving, we drive like we drive out there on the street and correct those behaviors before they ever get out there on the street. So your hand placement should be at 9 and 3. Okay. Sometimes it's an all-day process. Sometimes it's they go through the first 10 or 15 scenarios. Sometimes they go through 33 scenarios, depending on what they need. Or if they are out there on the street and have a collision, then we can bring them in here and we can correct their behaviors.
Behaviors the city has yet to fully quantify. Lewis says full research and an accurate measurement takes a full 10-year period, which gives the best indication of the value of the simulators.
But if you look at it over time, if you look at it collectively from 2009 to now, our collisions have come down. We have some years that are anomalies where they go up a little bit, but overall they have come down. And we attribute that to awareness and to the simulator as well.
So as you can see, it's not all fun and games inside here at the simulator. The city of Savannah doing all it can to make sure their drivers and their workers are as safe as possible. For City Span, I'm Ken Slatz.
It's a building that splits the north end of Bull Street. A magnificent architectural design, City Hall, the home to many of your records and documents, and the prime location for Savannah's council form of government.
The council chamber is one of the most beautiful spaces in the building. It's one of the most intact with its original decor and finishes and furniture, as the building was when it opened in January of 1906. The mayor and aldermen sit at the exact same desk the mayor and aldermen sat at when this building opened. And I hope everybody appreciates that history when they walk into that room.
After 110 years, most of the building looks the same. Luciana Spraker does her best to make sure of that, one small step at a time. Take for instance the lamppost, thanks to the students at Savannah Tech's Historical Preservation class.
So they're coming in and they're getting rid of the old polishing compound that is corrosive and is kind of in all the beautiful nooks and crannies of the leaf detailing, and then they will appropriately polish them.
2 floors below Chambers, the city's record center, crucial to the safekeeping of Savannah's most valued documents.
It's important that we preserve the historical records of the city and make sure they're available to our citizens today. We're supposed to make sure they're here forever for the next generations to come. This book covers 1803 to 1806. So it is important for people to know where they've come from, how Savannah got to be where what it is today. It's always important. We can't know where we're going in the future if we don't know where we've come from. Savannah is so steeped in history. All of these records are part of that, and also our records help document the decisions that city government makes every day. It includes details, elevations, floor plans. I think too often now students go to the internet and stop their research there. And so coming into an archival setting and doing primary research and touching original documents and seeing the original handwriting and just sort of having that one-to-one contact with the person who created the record, I think is something we've lost in this internet age. So I really like to be able to share that experience with young people.
With 2,500 employees, ensuring the city's workforce is a major task, and the Human Resources Department is committed to educating its workers in healthcare, and more importantly, health and wellness. Save for Health is the city's initiative to help prevent problems before they affect the worker. A healthier worker is more productive and can lead to longer longevity in the workplace and beyond. Vivian Garacani is in charge of making sure the Save for Health program is initiated, adapted, and simply works for each and every city employee. It's all about preventative maintenance for the mind and body. It's a 4-pronged process.
The first one is to go see your doctor. Go get your annual checkup. It's so important to have that relationship with your primary care doctor. The second thing is to get your biometrics screening. Know your numbers. What is your cholesterol? What is your A1C? Your blood sugar? What is your weight? We had employees that found out their numbers and they were like, oh, didn't realize they were so high, didn't know. We had employees tell us they didn't realize their cholesterol was so high. They didn't know they had hypertension. So they're actually working on getting those in control, changing their diet, exercising a little more, and taking ownership. I'm really excited to see how that's going to be for 2016, because 2015 we had 86% compliance with our wellness activities.
Along with physicals and biometrics, city employees are asked to complete a health questionnaire and sign a tobacco use affidavit. Upon completion of the 4 requirements, the employees save on their health premium. Total savings from 2015, more than $1,800,000. Still to come, the ins and outs of CDs. It's our Bank on This series. Plus, home repairs are heating up. How can you cash in?
But right after the break, high honors for 2 of Savannah's firefighters. The Club Valor Awards. It's straight ahead on CitySpan.
Welcome back to City Span. I'm Keith Stover. In more public safety news, 2 Savannah firefighters were recognized for heroism recently by the 200 Club of the Coastal Empire. The firefighters received the organization's prestigious Valor Award for rescues in the Savannah River last summer. Mark Keller introduces us to these brave rescue diving firefighters.
Twice during the early part of June 2015, Savannah firefighters were called upon to perform water rescues. And Master Firefighter Christopher Lamb and Advanced Firefighter Justin Goldberg would like us to believe that those 2 days last summer were just normal days at the office. Only those days started with the firefighters jumping into the swift-moving and unpredictable currents of the Savannah River to rescue an aggressive, combative, and uncooperative woman. While many of us were en route to our own jobs those mornings, these Savannah firefighters were risking their lives while utilizing their rescue and life-saving training to ensure the safety of one of our citizens.
It's the confidence in your training, it's the confidence in the people that you work with, and when you don't have to think about that, it just becomes instinct, and that's why we're all firefighters. We want to help people. We want to help people that are in situations they can't help themselves out of.
We do it because we love to help people, and so yeah, off duty, on duty, it doesn't matter. If somebody's in distress, you help them out. That's what you do.
For their actions, the 200 Club of the Coastal Empire honored Lamb and Goldberg with the Valor Award. Mark Dana is president of the 200 Club.
These are individuals who put their lives in extreme danger and service and safety of our public, and we're blessed that they're here still with us and committed to the community. And so tonight's an opportunity for us to present them with an award and appreciation amongst their peers and the community for a job well done.
I would have never expected this in a million years. It's what I did. To me, doesn't deserve an award. It's just what we're here for. It's what we do. It's our job. So to get an award for doing it, it's amazing. It's really truly an honor.
The woman they rescued on 2 separate occasions received necessary medical attention, and Lamb and Goldberg joined the rest of us for just another day at the office. Only there never really is such a thing when you're a rescue diver with Savannah Fire and Emergency Services. For City Span, I'm Mark Keller.
The 200 Club is a nonprofit organization dedicated to financial assistance to the families of first responders killed or injured in the line of duty in 20 Georgia and South Carolina counties.
Parking downtown might get easier if City Council approves the recommendations from a year-long parking study, but that convenience may come with a price.
I want the community to know it's not about creating revenue or trying to generate more money for the city. It's about creating availability for parking. 20 years ago, it was easy to find a parking spot. It's not so easy to do that this day and age. And so we began this with the purpose of looking at our parking management program.
Council had its first look at the study's findings in early March. The study looked at the area bounded by River Street on the north, Victory Drive on the south, Boundary Street on the west side, and East Broad Street. The recommendations include extending paid parking into the evening and on Saturdays.
That would be quite an adjustment for people to have to make. It's our responsibility to make sure that we do something that's actually going to benefit the community as a whole.
Other recommendations include increasing rates in the downtown core from $1 to $2, eliminating all time limits at paid spaces, providing free parking away from the downtown core, and offering additional transportation options into downtown.
If you want to park in a particular area that's the busiest, that's the most active, then there's a higher cost that's going to be associated with that particular area. And you eliminate the time limits, then you can park as long as you want, as long as you're willing to pay that cost. We want to improve the transportation system for pedestrians, for bicyclists, and then for our shuttle services. To get people to park on the outskirts and shuttle in, we got to change the behavior and mindset of our community.
Atlanta-based Nelson Nygaard, the consultant for the study, also recommends greater enforcement of parking violations on Sunday, especially during church hours, to improve public safety. The study should be finalized in May after additional public input and feedback from city officials.
And I think our biggest challenges are going to be getting people to accept the expanded enforcement idea and the Sunday enforcement and the increase in the parking rates and the time limit.
Each month on CitySpan, we team up with Bank on Savannah, an initiative of Step Up Savannah, to bring you easy tips on how to make the most of your money. With more, here's Richard Reeve of Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Savannah.
Are you hoping to get a higher return than your savings account, but still want your money protected? A certificate of deposit, or CD, might be for you. A CD is a promissory note issued by a bank or a credit union that restricts you from withdrawing your funds on demand. A CD has a date when it can be withdrawn without penalty, a fixed interest rate, and can be issued in any amount chosen by the owner. CDs can be issued by commercial banks or credit unions and are insured by the FDIC or NCUA. A certificate of deposit offers a safe and low-risk option to save money. The account earns interest and can be accessed quickly and easily despite the early termination fee. You have full discretion of how, when, and where the funding will be used. CDs are an insured, low-risk investment. They pay higher interest than regular savings account and have various time frames available. On the other hand, they have low returns, usually incur penalties for withdrawal before the maturity date, and rates are near the current rate of inflation. Contact a variety of financial institutions to find the CD that might work best for you. Start now to get a jump start on your savings goals. Until next time, I'm Richard Reeve, and you can bank on this.
Previously on CitySpan, we introduce you to a few residents that have taken advantage of the various home improvement and home ownership programs offered by the City of Savannah.
Our summer program and veterans programs are heating up for the summer, and you can ask for the assistance from the city, just like Clementine Torrance did.
It's an easy process. All you got to do is make the first step.
Ms. Torrance reached out to the City of Savannah when she needed help. A leaky roof, lead in the old paint in her house, and worn out floors. The assistance went well beyond the financial terms.
It gave me a family, not only with them, also with the world changes, the people that came here. It gave me a family, and they showed me a lot of love.
She impacted me because it was a residence that was saying, I'm not just going to depend on the city to do everything for me. I'm gonna do what I can do, and then if they can assist me further, then that'll be a wonderful thing.
The city's programs all have the same goal: help those in need. From the World Changers Group Work Camp to Savannah Apprentice to Youth Works, Savannah continues to tweak and expand the ones that help the most, including the one for our veterans.
He said, we got applications for a VA grant, and if you know anyone, he said, would you let them know to come to the city to get an application, because it's for veterans or widowers, you know. And I said, I'm a widower. You know, I just jumped at it. People out here who need them, they need to do their research.
I'm a veteran myself, so it makes me feel good because I know they're giving back to the veterans that sacrifice so much for them.
For CitySpan, I'm Ken Slatz.
The deadline for this year's summer volunteer program is April 18th. For much more information, head on over to the city's website, Savannah-GA.gov. The summer program details are the same as the minor home repair program.
You can also call 651-6517 for more information. The city looks to continue providing more than $300,000 of repair work each year to its citizens.
Wow.
I could use some help painting on the weekend.
Well, you know, I may come out and help you. It definitely saves the city a lot of money, especially those citizens.
I agree.
That's going to do it for this edition of CitySpan.
Don't forget, for the latest news and information about the City of Savannah, keep it tuned to SGTV. Visit our website, Savannah-GA.gov, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for making Savannah your home.